All proceeds from this series will go to Samaritans. Donation link in the description. Hey there, my name's Ruin, and welcome back to the Fazlore Podcast. Today I'm here with Cryo.
What's up? What's up?
And today we'll be covering FNAF 4. What was FNAF 4? So, how would you describe FNAF 4?
FNAF 4 felt so much different from all the games that came before it. You know, all the games before it, they were very standard. It's like, you know, stay in one spot, rotate like around the room, then you have some mini games. And the story was very, for the previous games, right? It felt very like a big mystery you're trying to solve. FNAF 4 was the first game where it felt like it had its own self-contained story. Like you could pick up FNAF 4, know nothing about anything that happened before or after, and understand completely what's going on. Like the story of the crying child, you know, getting bullied. It's a very sad story, of course, but everything, like, it all makes sense. And I think that's one of my favorite things about it.
I mean, the mini games were no longer like kind of like secretive, like what's going on. It was like at the start of each night, this is what's going on, you're being bullied. And that's why that FNAF 4 felt quite final as a game, even though it wasn't. Yeah,
it felt like a good, like, way to cap things off. And even Scott said to himself, it's like, you know what, I am happy with this being the end. Which it wasn't, evidently. A decade later, still going.
Yeah, I think as well, it's one of my favorites because of the way the gameplay worked, because it's so
100%.
much scarier. I think personally it's one of the scariest because you can't see, you just have to hear, and the only way where you know to shut the door isn't seeing them through a light or anything. It's literally hearing them when they're right next to you, breathing in your ear. That's so freaky.
Yeah, it's the complete opposite of FNAF 3. So this is when he was really experienced with the gameplay. And FNAF 3 was like all visuals. Like you're in the camera for like the entire night. FNAF 4, you have no cameras. You can't look in the halls. It's like you put your ear to the door and listen and hope that you don't like miss it. And if you do miss it, the nightmares are in your face. And on that note, the nightmare animatronics. So good.
They're so freaky, like, compared to the other ones, because they're no longer made to have, like, the lore of being part of, like, a restaurant or anything. They're not meant to be child-friendly, and that made the massive difference. Like, no longer were they Chuck E. Cheese, they were, like, literal nightmare fuel.
They don't have to be, like, uncanny creepy. They can be proper, like, horror animatronics. And Scott was in his bag when he was making some of them.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
the Nightmare Freddy reveal and, like, the frettles and all of that, amazing.
Even, like, the weird, like, tongue as well. Like, when they showed Foxy in the first ever teaser, he had that weird tongue hanging out. Oh, nasty.
Yeah, so creepy.
I think, as well, I'm pretty sure Scott always hated Bonnie, and Scott actually freaked himself out with Bonnie.
Yeah.
Especially this one.
You know something scary when it scares yourself making it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, some of my favorite animatronic designs, for sure.
I love the animations as well. Like, for reference, obviously, today was Vortex 25, and part of that, we watched Alpine play some of it. And I forgot how freaky it is when they kind of like disappear around the corner. You can see them, and the first time you see them, you're so in shock you can't register what it is, and all you know is, oh my god, something is there, and it's just slid away, and I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, like, so and you're like, what the hell is that thing? Where is, what's, it's so, like, they're such effective designs. I will never stop gushing about how good all of the nightmares are.
Absolutely, no. I mean, even, like, the build-up of, like, I believe, what they revealed with, like, words like, was it me? Was it me? Was it me? Kind of thing. Yeah, it was definitely really interesting, and I think out of all the FNAF games, it's probably one that stands out the most. Like, FNAF 3, FNAF 2, FNAF 1, they're all great in their own ways, but FNAF 4 has this uniqueness, and like it's not like any of the other games. There's not been a game before or after where you solely have to listen.
Yeah. Scott wanted to put everything into FNAF 4. Like, I truly believe he wanted it to be the end, so he put everything into it. The teasers building up to it, like you said, all crazy. The "was it me" was alluding to something. You know, everything was just... And then you have Night 5 of FNAF 4, which is, if ever there was a final boss in a FNAF game, it's that.
It's
Nightmare,
evil.
the Nightmare Fredbear night, probably one of the best nights in all of Five Nights at Freddy's. Just the way it works. The first time you see him and you're freaking out because, you know, this entire time Golden Freddy's been like, he's almost been an Easter egg, right? Like, you never know what to really expect. And whenever you see him, you're like, oh my god, run away. No, this time he is the threat the entire time.
Yeah, like,
and that's such a good way to end it.
Yeah, I agree. I think definitely this entire game really threw what we knew and brought it back to its core of you are afraid, you are trapped, you just have to go for it. What was the lore at the time? So I feel like the best way to start this segment is, were you ever a Dream Theory believer?
When it first came out, absolutely. Like, when Dream Theory was first revealed, I think Dream Theory was one of the first things a lot of people thought of, because it just, it makes sense in just the vacuum of FNAF 4. You're playing FNAF 4, you're traumatized by animatronics during the day, you go to night, you get to the nighttime, and now you're a small child in a room fending off nightmare animatronics. So just from that alone, I think everyone's thinking, okay, is this like a dream? Like, are we tortured by nightmares of the animatronics?
It was very...
And then you get to certain things like the Scott teasers. One of the biggest lore events of the series was that Game Theory live stream where Scott Cawthon was adding teasers to his website in real time to like communicate with them.
Like,
such a Scott Cawthon way of talking.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, where was Speak Speak? 4 games, 1 story. That was the big one. Because it's like everything's connected. And then you have all these Easter eggs, like the FNAF 1 phone call playing like in reverse in the ambiance for some reason.
It's creepy. And I think that's the thing, because obviously we're talking about lore specifically at the time. I get a lot of people disagreeing with me with this, but I really think at the time that was what was meant to be going on. I think it changed in future, but at that moment it just made sense, like that he was in a coma, that everything that happened before hadn't really happened. It was all like in his mind.
Yeah. Like, Dream Theory in a vacuum of just like FNAF 4 and everything that came before it, I think it still makes perfect sense. Like, I think that was a perfectly valid thing. Scott Cawthon had to go out of his way to kind of joke about how Dream Theory isn't real. He's like, oh yeah, who came up with that? What is that? He puts Dream Theory in the FNAF movie. Is that like even real? It sounds like garbage.
Literally.
like at this point he's making fun of it. So it's like, but even that makes you think like, okay, he's making fun of it, but then is that because it is real? Like, is that what's going on?
Like, it's not, I don't think it's canon now. It's very, like, all 4 games being canon, being dreams. But I think, I don't know, I wish it didn't get so much hate at the time, because I know that it was all a dream trope as kind of bad. But when you kind of think about Dream Theory in this context, I kind of have to disagree, because it's the idea of this child has been hurt by an animatronic. His dad, he might have seen his dad do bad things, and that's why he's imagining him as this killer, stuffing people in suits. Like, it was one that had so much evidence to it, and could have been, like, even hearing, like, the phone call tapes could have even been something he heard because of his dad, or through the Fredbear plushie. Like, I think it would have been quite a fun ending. I don't know.
There was so much to it, and it was really good. I don't know. I liked Dream Theory at the time for sure. Nowadays, no, unfortunately. I'll have fond memories of it always, but it is unfortunately not the truth.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think it got so much hate then, and it gets so much hate now, but I think it, regardless of what you think, I think it just was canon, because every evidence of people saying it wasn't canon are all evidence from events that happened after. And it's like, well, no, if you're looking at now, that's why this segment has been in every episode of this podcast, because the lore then versus now is so different. Like, we were even discussing how in FNAF 2, you probably played as the killer from the first game, and it changed. It's just very evolutionary.
There's so much to it. Yeah. Like, FNAF's lore has always evolved. And I think the biggest example of that is the box. Now, the box is the one thing that Scott Cawthon himself has gone out to say has changed. In his first interview with Dawko, he said, whatever's in the box, that has changed over the years.
Yeah.
And then in his most recent one, he said, I don't even know what's in there anymore. And I might not ever find out. Which, how? Did he forget? Did it just change again? I don't know. You'd think he wrote it down somewhere. It's like, this is what's in the box. Like, it almost makes me, it makes me worried. Does he not have, like, a master document of the lore somewhere? Is this just all in his head?
Oh, God. It would make too much sense. It would make too much sense. No.
Dude, that's the problem. That might be the truth. And if that's the truth, then it's cooked.
The game is cooked. Although, to be fair, I'm quite a believer of the idea it was potentially it was either Crying Child's body or something that fully confirmed Dream Theory, because I talked about this with Joker Noob, but how it kind of makes sense that either it was Crying Child's body and he was going to be put back together somehow, or it was something that confirmed Dream Theory, and both reasons Scott would say the fans wouldn't like, because it would be a body that's very not FNAF in that it's meant to be like kind of subtle and stuff, or two, that it was Dream Theory, and the hate online was so unnecessary. So
I don't hate the idea of it being the Crying Child's body, because the big thing is, what Scott specifically says about the box is like, what's in the box? It's the pieces put together. Ugh. What's the whole thing about the Crying Child? I will put you back together. So it's like, what if this is like the quote-unquote fixed Crying Child, right?
Yeah.
Like, what if this was, at the time, like, what William Afton was, building toward? What if this was his motivation? And then we get things like the Silver Eyes, and then we go into Sister Location, we get all the characterization for Afton, and then you're like, okay, he wasn't doing that. That's when you realize he wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
But again, in a vacuum of FNAF 4, you could totally think that.
And I quite like the idea, because, again, I was discussing with Joker Noob how it's so horrific to imagine in that box there is a dead child's body. That's so, it's nasty.
Yeah. It's a dead child's body that is motivating his father to murder to try and put him back together. And that's like it's a gut-wrenching concept. Like, that is awful.
It's horrific. And at the time,
it's really compelling
as well. If it really was a dream, it doesn't necessarily to be that he was murdering, though. Like, at this point, we didn't even have William and Henry. It is entirely possible that he was, like, trying to bring his child back using mechanical parts. Because I believe Silver Eyes was coming out around this time. And that was very much the idea of bringing your child back by building them. And I feel like that almost was the narrative of, I'll put you back together. And then maybe it was, like, a fourth closet kind of style Crying Child. I feel like that kind of almost was set up. And then and again, Scott said people wouldn't like what it would be. And if it was a robot child, they wouldn't like that either, as it's been proved lately. So
yeah. So if I had one question I could ask Scott Cawthon, I go back and forth on this a lot. I think it would be like, what was the original intention for the box? Not even a FNAF 4 in general. I just want to know what was originally in the box.
Yeah. I think that's what I'd ask too, because it still to this day is the biggest mystery. And also, to be fair, I feel like Matt Pat probably got it right, because he did theorize what it would be at like multiple eras. But yeah. I think I would love to know, because I feel like it will give so many answers. Because, like, again, I still think it could. I still think there was a very good chance it was just robot Crying Child. I think that was fairly certain what it was, but I'd love to know for definite what it was, because knowing what it was in different eras would give so many solutions, so many like basis to actually understand what has been going on.
it would help a lot with understanding where his mind was. Now, is that when did his mind change, and did it ever get back there? Maybe not. But I think it would be very interesting to know. Like that, I think that would be the most interesting thing that I could ask Scott.
Yeah, and I think it's the one thing we will never know. And I wish he told us for the 10th anniversary. That would have been really cool.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah.
I think my biggest hope, if I would love it if the box being opened is like the final thing for Five Nights at Freddy's ever. Like if that was the ultimate reveal, and then it's like, this is the answer. Find out how we got here. That I think would be really cool.
Yeah, I think even just like a final FNAF lore book from Scott, like, okay, here's what's in the box, you guys solve it, and then a few months later we got a definitive. Like, I would love to read like a book about Scott's processes, where he was coming from. Like, I think that would be amazing, maybe for like 15th anniversary, like when FNAF is over for good. I would love to hear, because he can be transparent about the fact that he changed his mind. I mean, half the point of this podcast, what gave me the idea of this, is how the lore has changed and what it used to be, because we know it's changed. It's not a question of whether it has. It has. And I think that doesn't make Scott any like less of a writer, any less of a game developer, and I think that he should kind of just embrace it, I think, and let us know.
I think that's one of the biggest things about his writing, is that I feel like he had so much pressure to try and make it as good as possible, and that led to him not liking some of the decisions he made, because he probably made it because he didn't think people would like what he was originally writing. So he had to, I think for a while he was more focused on trying to find what other people would like rather than writing what he thought was good. And I think that shot him in the foot a little bit.
I think Dream Theory is the biggest case of that, because he obviously did set up Dream Theory and then changed it because people were so mad, and that makes me kind of sad, because it's like similar to FNAF World in that they were changed because people didn't like them. Like, Scott's just trying to do what he enjoys, and people disagree with it and don't like it, but at the end of the day, it's his games and it's his world, and part of the reason that we have inconsistent narratives now is because we pressured him to change them.
Yeah, which is, it's one of the most unfortunate things about the Five Nights at Freddy's story and its legacy as a whole. Absolutely,
yeah. But yeah, so the next kind of like big theory was, at the time, it was do you think it was Michael or Crying Child was the protagonist during the nights? Like, only with the evidence then, not in future, because that's a whole new can of worms. But back then, what did you think?
And back then, it was. I feel like it was definitely the Crying Child. Like, I think that was very implied by the game. Like, the game in a vacuum, especially with the Easter eggs. So, like, at a base level, right, when you're just playing the game, it makes sense narratively. You live through the Crying Child's life the whole game. You know, you're seeing what it's like living in his shoes during the day, and then at night he has these horrific nightmares.
Yeah.
And then sometimes when you, like, look over back to the bed, you see, like, the flowers, the IV drip, the pills, and then, you know, at the end of the game, you find out he was hospitalized. Which, again, in a vacuum, not even just in a vacuum, it just made sense for that to be the Crying Child.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I agree, because we had all those little Easter eggs, as you said, like the drip, the flowers, like, it very much seemed like this was the Crying Child in a coma in his room. Like, at the end of the day, they're called the nightmare animatronics, because these were the nightmares showing up because of seeing his dad putting people in costumes just to perform, of seeing the costumes themselves, of seeing, like, maybe, like, the newspapers from FNAF 1 were disappearances, but just not a Freddy's franchise. Like, it really set itself up to be definitely some kind of coma state, some kind of dream state, and then, you know, yeah, it kind of changed. But I feel like definitely at the time I did love, that's why I love FNAF 4, and if Crying Child isn't the protagonist, which he probably isn't, I would be quite sad, because I feel like it takes away part of the narrative of the game, of this kid.
It takes
terrified.
away.
Yeah.
I think Michael being the protagonist of FNAF 4 kind of ruins one of the things that I really like about FNAF 4 in isolation. Which really sucks, because unfortunately I do think that nowadays it is Michael going through it.
Yeah. And I think,
which, you know, it's still okay. Like, I'm not like upset with it. I don't think it's suddenly bad, but I really liked it as the crying child.
Yeah. And obviously we can discuss this more in future, but in the next segment. But I just think it's really disappointing because it made the game such a strong narrative overall of going out in the day, coming back at night, as I said, like having these being the nightmares. It made it such a tragic and sad game, and that's what added so much more to it, because it felt like core FNAF, a child being hurt, injured, haunted by memories and stuff. It's such core FNAF, so to potentially have that change in future would be, it's rough.
It's very rough, yeah.
But yeah, and then okay, another big thing was 1983 or 1987. So,
yeah.
What at the time, what did you think?
I'm gonna be honest. At the time, I didn't have an answer because here's the thing: when you have the teasers are screaming 1987 at you, like 1987's hidden everywhere. You have "Was It Me" in most of the teasers for the animatronics. You have "Probably Me" for Nightmare Fredbear. It's like, okay, this is the bite. Like, that's what we're about to see. We're about to see the bite happen. Which we'll talk about the bite that we see later, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it was screaming, oh my god, this is the bite of 87. And then you find out about the game might take place in 83. And all of a sudden we have the bite of 83. And I'm going to be honest, that was the one thing I really didn't like.
Because it was such a change.
Yeah. I think if this was the bite of 87, and this was the first time we actually saw it, I think that would have been so good.
See, I think it was the bite of 87. I still believe it is. It just makes sense, because now we're saying FNAF 2 isn't canon, FNAF 1 is all a dream. It would make sense that he's dreaming about his own bite. And when I was younger, I was feral about this, because I remember it was proposed that 83 was the date that Fazbear's was established, but not the date it was now, because it doesn't make sense for the TV to be showing Freddy, Bunny, Chica 1983 like that. It felt more like an intro and saying, or an ad for the place saying, oh, done in 83. And it made more sense for it to be the bite of 87, especially as you said, the building up of like, was it me? It really made sense, because it was none of them in the end, and it was Golden Freddy. And that's why the final night is Golden Freddy, because that's when we're really confronting what happened. Like, the whole time, it never was one of the animatronics, it was Golden Freddy, and we understood it all wrong. So
that bite, to this day, is probably the most memorable scene in all of Five Nights at Freddy's for me. Because I remember the first time I saw it. I remember the first time I saw it, and then I saw reactions of it. I saw the first time. I remember watching Markiplier play it for the first time, and just the silence that followed it, because it's the oh my god, is this happening? And then you hear the bite, and everything stops, and it's just a moment of, oh my god, that just happened. Yeah. And it's just this deafening silence that you go through in that moment. Probably the single greatest moment in a Five Nights at Freddy's game, as horrible as it is, that, you know, the context of it, this is like the most tragic thing of all time. But just that moment,
it's so amazing. It's so well done. Like, I think it's on the level of FNAF 6 Henry's speech. Like, even Markiplier's reaction is still like used everywhere. Was that the bite of 87? And I think you're right. That crunch sound of the haha, let's do this, guys. Nom nom, crunch. And as you said, that silence of that kid has just been bit. That kid is dead.
Yeah, and like even the bullies, like you see them all, they're like laughing, they're like moving around, and then you hear the crunch, and everything on the screen just comes to an immediate halt. Yeah. Just pure deafening silence, and you are left there with that moment of, this is what started it all. And like for a minute you think that is the bite of 87. This is what it is. This was the event that really started everything that happened to Fazbear Entertainment. Everything in, FNAF 2, FNAF 1, FNAF 3, it all started from this single moment. And, like, that part technically is still true. Yeah. But I think having it be a second bite just kind of takes the wind out of its sails a little bit, unfortunately.
And I think you're right, in that silence, it really gave you a moment to process and reflect on like what FNAF 1 was. Because FNAF 1 had that moment of the tapes and talking about kids disappearing and stuff. And then in FNAF 4, you have this moment of like, oh my god, that just happened. And then you're like, wait, a kid has just died on screen. Like, that kid is dead. It really brings you into the moment and reminds you, at the end of the day, we have these fun mechanics. You have a horror game, but this is about dead children. And it shows us this is a dead child and how it's all... it just brings you back to the core of FNAF, and it makes me sad that has been dimmed with time.
Yeah, it's just not what it was. I think if FNAF had ended there, and, like, that was the moment where it's like, this is the bite, this is what all happened. And then, what's crazy is, there's an arguably even more heartbreaking moment later in the game, because, if you go through some of the extra nights, you get that scene of the crying child, like, in the void, like after the bite, where he's just standing there and he hears his brother talking to him, finally apologizing for, or all of the horrible things he did. And then you hear that, you're broken, I will put you back together. And then you hear the flatline and the crying child slowly fades away. And once again, you are left literally just in that darkness. Like you literally just see the void. Everything is gone. You are just left with the silence, and just that alone, that scene is so powerful. Like, it tugs at every single emotional string at once. And those two scenes, the bite and the fade away, are easily like the things that make FNAF 4 such a good game to me, and why it's always going to be the most memorable, no matter what happens in other games.
Yeah.
Those two moments are just unmatched.
It's funny, because, like, overall, you always get caught in the theorizing and the concept of it and what's going on. But when you think back to that moment, like, it makes me even sad to this day to have that sudden... like, just the void and fading into the void as it flatlines. It's so heartbreaking because it's just that's the child dying. That child has lived in nightmares and stuff and only could move on when they'd been forgiven, when they had an I'm sorry. And it's something that's so core to the idea of FNAF. And that's the thing, like, back then the lore was so much more coherent and it was so beautiful. And it makes me really sad that people just overrode the quietness of that moment with, Dream Theory sucks. Like, people didn't appreciate for the beautiful storytelling that it was. And it was just rough.
Very rough. Like, I wish people reacted better to that, because I will never forget that moment. For like as long as I live, that will always, like, anytime I think about, writing, anytime I've ever thought, what if I made a game? Those are one of the moments where it's like, I want that moment where I can stun an audience to absolute silence. Just with one single moment that was built up to. And I just... It's inspiring. That's what I'll say. I think that's the big thing about FNAF 4 to me. It inspires me.
I completely agree, because I am... So for reference, people listening as well, I've just graduated writing undergraduate, and something they teach you and to focus on is that with the idea of grief, it's not all chaos, it's not all loudness, because obviously FNAF 4, there was chaos and loudness, and that you're constantly doing these nights, but when it comes to the end of it, when it comes to that moment of loss and sadness and grief, it is quiet, because it's you and your own sadness and your own letting go. And it's the crying child literally isolated in this void, knowing he's going to die and being given permission to go. Like, it's such a really good representation of grief and passing on. Like, at the end of the day, this child needed to move on and let go. It was an accident. It was a horrific accident, but sometimes you just have to let go.
Yeah. Man, just thinking about that scene gets me like a little bit emotional. I'm just thinking about it now, and it's
yeah, no, I'm the same. Like, as you started talking about it, I was like, that makes me feel me feel bad.
You're sucked right back into it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as well, actually for editing purposes, I feel like I'm gonna show it at this point, because this hasn't happened in any other episode yet, but I feel like to fully understand what we are discussing. I feel like you guys need to actually watch the scene, so I'll put the scene here.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. I'm sorry. You're broken. We are still your friends. Do you still believe that? I'm still here. I will put you back together.
This is what we saw. Like,
Yeah.
this, like, it was building up to this. And just being able to see that silence and just, like, sit down, like, literally sit in, like, the quietest room you can, put on headphones, and just watch that scene. Have it, like, knowing what happens before, and, like, it hits, dude. Like, they hit really hard.
It's the one thing I feel like us talking here can't even convey. You have to see it. Like, the slow fading, the way the dialogue comes in, and just the... You can't describe it. Like, I can describe the animatronics kind of sneaking around the corners. I can describe the jump scares, the feeling of them breathing in your ears, but that emotion of coming back to the core of FNAF and seeing that kind of cutscene, you have to see it. And that is part of the beauty of FNAF, and one of the moments where I feel like we almost need more of is moments of grounding, like get away the loudness and come back to the quietness of what all of this is about. Yeah.
Less hype moments and aura, more tragedy.
Yeah, I feel like slight sidetrack, but I think Secret of the Mimic slightly missed that, especially like Edwin's voice actor was great, but on this scenes where he was meant to be emotional, like I don't know what to do, I didn't feel that. It was more like it was lacking that depth we almost needed of the, you know, when he was saying to Fiona Bot or something about David dying, he didn't sound as devastated as you need to be. I think that's what missed out. Like, there just wasn't that quietness that you needed in Secret of the Mimic to remind, like, okay, all of this stuff is going on, but it all started because of loss, and it felt like it was tragic, but it wasn't brought in enough.
Yeah, we didn't get to see all the stages of grief for Edwin. That's the thing. We only really got to see his anger. Like, the thing is, like, grief leads up to acceptance, and I don't think Edwin properly, like, even to this day, like, everything we know about, like, any books, like, any future games that he may or may not be in, depending on what happened, I don't think he ever got to really accept it. We only see anger because that's as far as he got. Like, he never processed that. He just, he got angry and he just threw himself into work until it probably killed him. Yeah. And, like, it's tragic in its own way still. Like, I will not understate the tragedy of Edwin's story because, you know, there's still a lot there. Yeah. It just doesn't hit in the same way. And I guess it wasn't meant to, but I don't know.
No, I completely agree, because I think that's the only thing Secret of the Mimic missed. I loved that game. It was so fun. I really enjoyed it. And I think the only moment where I feel like that was really conveyed is when Edwin was trapped under the building. Where, again, I don't think he died, but I think he was at least trapped and on the verge of death. That was the only moment where it closed in. And again, like, I'm not saying this to insult Edwin's voice actor. I loved Edwin's voice acting, but maybe it was the direction, but there was just moments that didn't hit right. Even when he was breaking M2, it felt like it was just lacking something slightly. Like, which is odd, because something like that FNAF 4 cutscene we're talking about had no voice lines. You just read it and it hit right. It was just, it was odd.
I will say a big thing for that. The thing about it, I will say this right now. When it comes to Edwin beating down an M2, the way you make that work better is if it's like an actual cutscene that you're going back to see. We only get the audio logs for it. And, like, we get the audio logs while, you know, we're hiding away from the Mimic. You can hear Mimic, like, in the background saying whatever crazy voice lines it's saying at that point in time. You're hearing all the ambiance of where you are. And so it can't be afforded that silence because of the context that it's provided in. Yeah. And not getting any visuals really hurts it. If we got the whole thing, then I think it would have hit a lot harder. Because even in the books, it hits a lot harder. Because you can tell it all built up to just like a fury inside of Edwin, and it just unleashed. And you have that moment where it's like, oh my god, this just happened.
Like, even the description of the book where he was saying he felt his agony and sadness leaking into the animatronic, like, that was such a powerful line, because it's like, oh my god, the idea of this devastation. Whereas even when, the sound effects they used for Edwin breaking Mimic was so odd. It sounded more like he was pulling him apart rather than the rage that was, you are copying my son, how dare you, beat, 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 beat. It didn't even sound violent. I felt like that was just...
It didn't, yeah. I think not having it be a cutscene, because even when it comes to like the voice direction, if there's a visual, you know, a voice director will be able to much more clearly say, hey, this is what you need to invoke. And, you know, Edwin's voice actor, very talented. Yeah. I know he could have done that.
Yeah. And that's the really annoying thing, because the voice actor was completely capable of it. He just obviously wasn't given the opportunity to do so. And then obviously whoever was directing the sound didn't add, I'd say, the right sound effects for the mimic breaking. Like, that kind of creaking sound wasn't angry. That was more like, oh, let me just bend you a bit. Let me just pull you apart a bit.
Like that's one of those moments that I think had to be like one of the most standout moments of a game, because that's again, that's one of the things that really starts on why is the mimic the way it is, because of that scene. So I really wish we had some kind of visuals for it, and just like, because, you know, if we get the visuals, then, you know, everyone could do their job a lot better.
Yeah, and there was ways to do it too, is the odd thing. Even a secret ending, or even like now we know that this patch 90% of the time was Fiona, who probably even witnessed it, could have had a recording of it, like towards the end, could have said, like, please don't hurt him, see this, and then show it. Even in, like, the mimic ending where the mimic becomes the child version again, to show the difference, even, like, showing it next to it, to show the contrast of this tiny little mimic kid and seeing what happened, would have done so good.
But even that scene, like, watching Mimic like solely go back to its like childlike self, and then just like seeing, because you could see it, it feels like Mimic is fighting against its own programming in that moment. It's like everything it has learned versus what it truly is on the inside. And, you know, the end of the story, and then, you know, you put in the data diver, and that, you know, fixes it.
Yeah.
And even that is such a powerful scene.
Yeah.
That's like oh my god, this is like, it's powerful in a different way. It's not one of those like heartbreaking, like sad things. It's like you have this sense of hope from that one. Yeah.
And just the idea as well, though, like, I would say is sad still as well, because you look at it and you're like, he was just a kid. At the end of the day, he was just a kid. Like, this is what Edwin looked at and saw and beat up. It's just,
Yeah.
Returning to FNAF 4.
Accidental Secret of the Mimic section.
No.
Our bad guys.
So obviously the theory one of the obvious ones was like Purple Guy being the father. I feel like that was kind of quite obviously going around. Yeah.
Yeah. I think everyone kind of agreed with that one off rip. Which was another kind of crazy reveal. Seeing Purple Guy for the first time, he's just like working a regular job. Like, you look at it for the first time, it's like, that guy's, wait, he's just kind of chill. What?
Yeah. It's like, oh god, a murderer. Oh wait, no, it was all a dream, and it's just some guy.
Yeah, it's just some guy who works here.
Yeah. I mean, as well, I almost think you could have been the phone guy, because we had that purple phone. The only reason we thought Purple Guy couldn't be phone guy is because of the first two games. But then, that was a dream. So it was very possible, like, that's why we had like the reversed audio in the coma state as well in the actual gameplay. It's because, well, his dad did that job. That was his job. So
yeah. So like, in a way, you know, that there are a lot of interpretations where it's like, that could have made sense at a certain point in time in FNAF 4.
Yeah.
That could have made sense.
Yeah, it easily could have all like pulled itself together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of it didn't. Yeah. Which is... we'll get to that.
But I think the last big thing about FNAF 4 was the whole... We've kind of touched on this now, but what was put the pieces back together? Like, what? Who was saying this? What did they mean, put the pieces back together? Like, what do you think?
At the time, I really did think it was just like, I thought at the time that was, okay, this is William Afton's promise to his son, and this is what starts everything we see in the rest of the games.
Yeah.
Right, I thought that was, okay, this is a father's promise, and then this father goes on to be a killer driven mad by grief.
Yeah.
And even that, in concept, I think is extremely compelling. Because it turns Afton into a villain where it's like, you don't particularly agree with him, but some part of you understands that, if he was just doing this because his son was taken away from him, you can understand desperation.
Yeah, I agree.
Empathy is a core thing that everyone has to some extent, and I think that version of William that could have been, I think there was some level of empathy there. Is it what we got? No. But,
Yeah, I mean, with Charlie, like, obviously it was either the dream theory narrative and he was trying to use actual robot parts to bring him back as a robot fourth closet style, or I think the other, like I remember Matt had mentioned that directly as well. He was saying the box is actually one of the closets. It's the first one of the 4 closets in terms of, like, that kind of context. But I think the other one could have been that he, because we know the puppet brought people back to life, he might have accidentally killed the puppet, for example, and I feel like he saw that it was possible to bring people back to life, and that's why he did the murders, because he's like, well, I've seen these possessions work, I've seen them come to life, therefore I know that somehow I can do this too. And I think either dream theory or that narrative, both of them are really devastating, because I think either definitely could have been canon at the time, and I think it was just, it was sad.
All right. FNAF 4 is a really good game. Like, just our perceptions of FNAF 4, amazing.
Like, and all the episodes, for people watching, you're seeing this as the 4th episode, but I filmed about half of them now. We're kind of in the middle. But something we're kind of discussing, and you guys will see watching, is that all the games have a different charm to them. And FNAF 4 specifically, it feels really like this is the saddest one. Out of all of them, this one has the most gut punch, because it has the most obvious stuff, it has the saddest scenes, and it has the most realistic themes. Like, it's not about possession anymore, it's just about a kid that got into an unfortunate accident and died, and guilt, and that's it.
In a way that, like, there is a level of realism to it, yeah. Like, could this happen under these circumstances? Probably.
Yeah. And that's the thing, at the end of the day, it was just a kid that died, so it was just...
Yeah, it was just a tragic event. No hauntings, no animatronics, just, like, completely acting on their own. Like, killer robots, killers in general, it was none of that. It was just a combination of unfortunate events leading to a tragedy. Yeah,
which is... yeah. What is the game lore now? So, what is the game lore now?
That is a really good question. What is the game lore now?
Is it?
Is it God Victim? Is that real? God Victim. Is that what it is? For the audience that doesn't know, God Victim is the modern day dream theory in a way, where it's like everything that the crying child saw basically influences everything that happened in the future.
I've never heard that.
It's a real thing. I'm surprised you didn't hear it, because like Unwithered Truth is like one of the bigger pushers of that one, to my understanding.
I'm withered. I'm sorry. If you're watching this, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not super well versed on it. That is like my rough understanding, so I might have gotten some things wrong.
Yeah.
But that's essentially what it is. It's like, the crying child, everything that he saw, ultimately, like, it has an influence on everything that happens in the future. So, like, why is Mangle the way Mangle is in FNAF 2? Because in FNAF 4, you have the, broken Mangle toy. Why is Toy Chica missing her beak in FNAF 2? Because, in FNAF 2, you see that broken Chica doll missing the beak.
I can see something if we're going along the lines of agony, because we know agony itself can spread and infect things.
Yeah, it is, like I said, it is the modern day dream theory. It is how people, I guess that's the only real way to put it. It's like dream theory, but modernized. I don't like it as much as dream theory.
Yeah,
I don't know if I actually really believe it at all. It's very funny in concept. Just going God victim,
God
just all
theory.
the time.
Yeah, when you said it, I thought you were making a joke, and then you said for the audience, I was like, wait, what?
No, this is a real thing. I might have gotten some things wrong about it. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but
It's right. Yeah,
that is in essence what it is.
attack Cryo on with it. Don't attack me for not seeing your video. Attack Cryo.
Unwithered, explain it.
Wow, Unwithered. The ghost of Unwithered.
The ghost of Unwithered.
Wow, I can.
It's like he was just here. You saw him like 2 hours ago.
Not even that, like less than an hour ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other big thing I'd say that probably could have changed is Michael being the protag. I hate it. Sorry, Michael being the protag.
I don't like Michael being the one that saw the nightmares. Like when I saw Mike draw Nightmare Fredbear in the logbook, I was like, okay, that might be cool. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, oh,
wait,
I don't like that.
No,
that's kind of stinky.
Yeah, I have a firm hater of it because thing is, because we know of the subnophobia or whatever it's called, the one where you're EP, it's likely that Afton was running experiments by using the Funtime animatronics and adding an illusion disc to make them look scarier. And as much as I hate that, it really does make sense because we knew illusion discs from Sister Location, we knew them from the Silver Eyes trilogy, and now we see them here. It made sense lore-wise, but it kind of messes with the Easter eggs of FNAF 4 though, because like, why is Michael on a drip? Like, why is William medicating his son?
Yeah, it's all of a sudden, it's like, all of a sudden, William Afton is experimenting on people, which I guess it wasn't out of the question considering what came before, but like, why? Michael Afton is the one seeing the nightmares. Why? Is that his room? Why is he the size of a child when he's like a teenager in that game or something?
Yeah, like we generally understand that Michael and William had a strange relationship because of what Michael did, which is fair. But to see
that makes sense.
To see William, who's like a heartbroken father, to then get to the point of experimenting on his own son, like he was mad at the crying child, but at Michael, but I don't know if he'd go to that extent. It's kind of.
I mean, William Afton is just a broken man in general. Like what we now know is that he never had, he never had all of his marbles. He lost them all a long time ago. Like, he was always, like, on the crazy side.
Yeah.
And so, like, after the crying child died, that was just, like, it just got worse. Like, his treatment of Michael got worse. He starts subjecting him to this. He sends him down to the Sister Location bunker, basically to die.
Yeah.
Like, I fully believe that William knew Michael was going to die down there, and he just didn't care.
Oh, yeah, he fully accepted it.
He probably wanted it to happen, to be honest. Because considering, like, the animatronics wanted to leave, and the animatronics thought they were him, that was all probably planned by William. It's like, hey, go down here, do this thing for me. Let me know when you're back, and he's dead.
Although, I suppose there are theories at the moment going on that, William was Springtrap at that point. And I can still kind of see it. Like, if he told... Like, it sounds almost like... From that one monologue where he said... Father, I went to the basement. It kind of...
Yeah. It's me, Michael. I found it.
I still remember Googling for that clip on the school computer and I could not find it anywhere. But it was creepy. It was like a... It's interesting how that plays in now because it almost implies William told him to go there. And...
Yeah.
It feels like the more FNAF games we get, the more William is stripped of his humanity. Because I like the idea from Secret and the Mick where he was this crazed businessman. Because he was. And Henry kind of letting it happen. Again, he's always done that. He's not a perfect guy. So...
Yeah. Henry, very much so, is not the hero that people make him out to be. I think Henry's been mischaracterized by the community for a long time. People thought he was just like the crazy hero because, like, oh, look at what he did in the FNAF 6 fire. He stopped William Afton. And it's like, yeah, like 50 years after he killed like 10 children in a giant fire that also killed Michael Afton.
Yeah. And it's kind of like people forget in this speech he literally says, the monsters I unwillingly helped create, because you're talking about the fact that, I can't remember the word, but when you see it happening and you know what's happening, but you're in denial of it, so you don't do anything. He was like that. He was very much knew what was going on, but stopped doing it. And I think that's the one thing I do like about Secret of the Mimic, is that people are so pissed at the moment saying, Henry's not like that, Henry's not like that, he wouldn't do that to his friend. And it's like, well, no,
yes, he would.
You've misread FNAF. And I think,
you don't understand Henry Emily. It's not that he's like evil or anything. We're not saying that. We're saying that he let things happen. Like, he didn't do anything.
Yeah, like, he's not the one that did these things, but also, he was close enough that Edwin called him Hen, and he still let William steal everything. So, no.
Like, I don't think Henry is a bad guy by any means. Yeah. I just think he didn't take initiative. And so, as a result, he ended up letting bad things happen around him and just didn't try to stop it.
He was very much a follower, and I think as long as his peace was protected, it was fine, which is why when Charlie got killed, that's when he kind of drew the line, and probably, like, there's a good chance that's when he built the FNAF 2 security system of icy thingies, Mangle be the guard dog, literally the guard dog.
Yeah, literal guard dog that, like, hangs to the ceiling now because Mangle got mangled.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously Mangle has all the police recordings, like, she's calling the police, you can hear her doing so, and then obviously she's probably the one that did the bite, so it very much seems like it's a call the police, if it comes down to it and you can't guarantee safety, then go and just do it kind of deal. So, but yeah, it's just overall I think the games have stripped William of his humanity too much. Like, part of the reason FNAF 4 is so good is because it's a sad man trying to bring back his kid, but now it's like super scary scientist killing kids.
Now he's a crazed man who has become obsessed with the art of mastering life and death and controlling it, and he will experiment on anyone that gets in his way for data so he can become immortal.
And it's like, especially like
it's
how...
like, where'd we go?
Where did this come from?
Like, where'd the plot go?
Yeah, and it's just, like, even when he started capturing children inside his stomach cavity, is like, inside of Freddy's, Freddy's stomach cavity.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on?
Yeah, like, why is this escalation here? Like, obviously, Sister Location felt like it was beginning to cater more towards the fans and what they wanted to see. Yeah.
But at the same time, Sister Location is the game where it's like, Circus Baby, oh, look, she can create balloons, she has ice cream, she gives cake to people, she has a giant claw in her stomach that eats children, she looks so cute! What are we doing?
like what? And the fact that he then let his own kid get scooped, like, the FNAF 4 narrative is, I'm devastated, I'm heartbroken, I'm never getting over this. Oh yeah, but I left my kid unattended to get scooped. Yeah.
Sister Location, it's like, hey, Liz, don't go near this thing, okay?
Yeah.
Alright, bye. Hey, Liz, seriously, make sure you don't go there. Alright, have fun.
Have fun.
Hey, Liz, I mean it. Don't go there.
Like,
alright, see?
Like, she's probably seen other kids getting ice cream as well, and instead of saying, like, oh yeah, that's evil murder ice cream, you die if you eat that ice cream, it's like, oh yeah, they get ice cream. You don't. I'm not telling you why. You just don't. I just don't love you.
Yeah.
Oh god. But yeah, I think it was but I think what we're saying, FNAF 4 is definitely the final game that held up this really tragic narrative where we started going off the rails a little bit, just little sprinkling
a little bit at a time. It's like Sister Location started getting crazy. FNAF 6 tried to wrap it all up to, end the crazy. Ultimate Custom Night, decent finale. And then you get into all the books where all that crazy stuff happens. And then you get to Security Breach and Burn Trap was a thing. Burn Trap was a thing.
That's the thing. I feel like FNAF 1 through Ultimate Custom Night is its own story. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And then the newest stuff is its own story, which I love. Like, Security Breach was a fumble, but I kind of see why that fumble happened. We do know why now, because Scott wasn't communicating. But
yeah, and I mean, a big part of that was, there was a global health crisis going on. Communication was harder to do. I get that.
And I think just what really peeves me off is the fact that they've set it up so Michael probably is the FNAF 4 protagonist. And I really don't like that because I think both arcs have their own consistent stories. That is brilliant. That works so well. To then kind of try and change Fazlore, that's when I draw the line. Like, no, you've got a really brilliant storyline here with Mimic, humanity versus AI. You know, are we monsters? We're the ones doing these bad things. To then try and mix them up, it's like, no.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough. I thoroughly enjoyed what I thought FNAF 4 was when it first came out. And just knowing that it's not that. Like, don't get me wrong, I still like the game. I still think it has a great story. It's still the game that, like, if a friend asked me, hey, I want to get into Five Nights at Freddy's, I'd ask them, first of all, why would you do this to yourself? And then I'd be like, well, if you want a good starting point, try FNAF 4.
Yeah. It feels like the start of the series, but I feel like I can still enjoy that game as long as I'm not thinking of the greater lore. I feel like if I watch that game, I think of it of the perspective I'm the crying child and I'm playing as the crying child. Like, I never ever think, oh, I'm Michael. I'm in that mindset of like, this game was made then, this is what I believed then, and this is what I am playing this game as, if that makes sense. How does this affect the future of the games?
So now hallucinogenic dreams are just like a thing that people have accepted happened to multiple kids that are like not in the games. That's something that came from the books. It's like, hey, yeah, this hallucinogenic gas that like makes people go crazy, see things. Yeah, that's just a common thing in the games.
It just happens. It's just there.
It just happens. There's a few gas canisters in sister location. Yeah, that's a thing that happened. This was always planned. It's like, was it though?
I feel like that's the biggest way FNAF 4 is going to change the future of the games, because they changed FNAF 4 on purpose. They definitely intentionally made it Michael and added the gas, so I kind of... Where is that going to play in? Because they also even emphasized on having this, like, cleaning gas in the Escape the Pizzaplex. That was also a whole thing with the Regent spraying the gas everywhere, so it's kind of like... Where are we going with this? What is the end goal?
Where are we?
Yeah. It's like, you needed this to be canon enough. You needed this to be significant enough that you would change the past. So what is the payoff going to be that it was worth doing that? I don't know. What do you think? It's...
Let me... I don't know what I think. When it comes to the effects that FNAF 4 now has on the lore with, you know, the gas, with Mike as the protagonist for everything, I kind of know that. But, like, when it comes to the gas and just hallucinations in general, I don't like it, just in general. I wish it didn't. I wish Scott didn't go in that direction.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Yeah. As I was saying, it feels unnecessary when the old games and the new games have such consistent like narrative and like are so separate from each other that they're really good games in their own accord and their own lore. Like, it wasn't necessary to change it. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't have to, I don't know.
Yeah, like, I feel like the only way that I think it could have effect is the whole idea of the crying child robot being in the box, because I really think, because David, Gregory, and Crying Child have so many heavy links. Like, I jokingly said before Secret Mimic, I said my crack theory is that Gregory is David, potentially stolen by William and then turned into Gregory, but, like, the more kind of stuff we're getting, the more it's kind of like, oh, that might actually be it.
And then T-Dreads uploaded like a hour-long video where that was the premise, and it got like 600,000 views or something.
I did not know that.
No, yeah, that was his most recent video. His most recent video is literally, God, David, where it's just like, hey, this David was everything. Now he's the one, like, David is like crying child. He's Gregory. The crying child's David's always trying to be rebuilt now.
Yeah, I don't think it's David being rebuilt. I think like there was a endoskeleton potentially made to be David, and then when William stole the stuff, he saw that and was like, "Oh," and that's why we see Gregory in matching clothes to crying child.
My absolute crack theory is that the endoskeleton from the secret ending that's supposed to be David, my crack theory is that that's what's in the FNAF 4 box right now.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I honestly think it's not that unlikely.
Yeah, like,
it sounds
you say that,
so cursed, but like, it's not impossible.
If there's a third mimic, I wouldn't be surprised, because I genuinely think Gregory is going to be the equivalent of, like, the parachute protocol, the equivalent of, like, why we see puppet schematics, because I really think Gregory, like, because I've said before, no, I haven't said before to the audience. I've said before in real life, audience, you'll hear about this in future, but it definitely feels like, oh, I've lost my point. Wait.
You can do it.
I was talking about
David, like, being rebuilt, 3 mimics.
Oh yes, 3 mimics. I think Gregory is meant to be the antithesis to the mimic. I think Gregory is what kills the mimic in the end. Well, not kills it, but maybe even, like, I don't think necessarily has to kill it, but I think they'll die together, because I think Gregory is why he hesitates, going, am I David? Am I crying child? Yeah, I'm Gregory.
Gregory, yeah, that's my name.
Yeah, it really feels like, I don't know, I quite like that, though, because I feel like it doesn't affect anything, and it kind of, like, even to the point in FNAF 4, when we were talking about the game lore at the time, it was entirely possible there was a robot child in there, because Silver Eyes was going on, so I feel like they can easily pull that off without affecting the past lore, so...
Oh, God. I wonder how long Scott has actually had robot children. Like, was he thinking that in FNAF 4?
Oh, he's been kicking it for a bit.
Or did that really start with, like, the Silver Eyes? And was it even at the start of the Silver Eyes, or was that just later? Was that just later into the trilogy? When did he really start cooking that up?
See, obviously, spoiler alert to people who haven't seen it, by Twisted Ones, Charlie dies, and then we find the 4th closet and the 3rd one. But I really think it was possible, because obviously by Silver Eyes, there were a few things that didn't make sense that kind of got chucked away. Like the idea that there was 2 children, that there was Charlie and her brother. That obviously doesn't stay now, that's not canon, and there was definitely some loose threads. But I do think the idea of robot children, like the whole "I will put you back together," I really think that was to do with robot stuff. I think he's wanted to do this for a while, but he keeps getting rejected by people, so he's like, okay, I'll leave it for now.
Yeah, I think people don't love the idea of robot children.
Whereas I don't like it.
Hate it. I'm kind of 50-50 on it. If Scott wants to do it, I think he could do a good job of it. I just need to see him fully commit to it.
Yeah. But I think we're at a point where a robot child makes sense, and I think that would be a really cool ending to this kind of like era of FNAF, is having this come together, come David, crying child, now Gregory. I think it makes sense. I think it's logical, and it would be like a really cool ending to it. I think we're ready, Scott. We're ready. Give us the crying child, the crying child, robot child.
Do it already. You've wanted to do this for a long time.
Yeah, like the environment is ready. We're set. You've set it up perfectly. Give it. Yeah. Do you think
the stage is set for you to finally do what you've wanted for the past decade? Don't let us down now.
Do it.
Do it.
Yeah. Is there anything else you kind of think that's going to carry forward from FNAF 4? Anything else that is probably relevant?
I don't think we're gonna see much more FNAF 4 imagery, like, in general. Like, I don't think any themes that started in FNAF 4 are gonna necessarily pick up anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I think we've, in terms of that, I think we've gone through all of it. Unless we have a game that goes, like, around the time of 1983, which, I mean, we are getting DLC for Secret of the Mimic, so...
Oh, is it confirmed now?
Or just it's in the files.
Okay. I thought we would. I mean, I've said this, but... no, again... Audience, I said this in future, but I'm saying this now. I really think we're going to get a DLC that's going to show how Mimic was able to mimic Afton. We're going to get probably Edwin as the protagonist or something, and like how Edwin, I sincerely doubt died then. I don't know if he's alive by security breach, but they were very clear in saying I can't feel my legs, so it's more like he was paralyzed than actually died. So
yeah, but then the question is, how did he get out, right?
It
feels like they're trying to say that he died, but like technically he could have lived.
Yeah, I think that's why I think Gregory is such a big thing at the moment, because I think whatever Edwin did, he's either recorded some voice notes or he's put something in Gregory, like, or he's got some backup schematics. Like, I don't think Edwin's finished yet. We're gonna get a little bit more Edwin, I think.
Yeah.
They're definitely leaving it, but I think, as I was explaining before, to be paralyzed, you don't have to be hurt to the point of death. If you just get hit at the right point, you are just done, like paralyzed.
Well,
so.
the thing is that like an explosion went off in the room.
Yeah.
Like that's my understanding. It's like there was an explosion and now Edwin can't feel his legs.
Yeah.
Here's the question. Is that because his legs aren't working? Or is that because he doesn't have legs anymore?
Yeah.
That's now the question.
But I feel like if his legs were completely blown off, he's talking for too long. Like, there is the idea that maybe Mimic ripped his legs off, but I feel like it makes more sense to say that, like, his legs were paralyzed. Like, even something landing on him. Like, I feel like Mimic would be quite satisfied seeing Edwin not have legs, but
yeah,
Edwin having to live with that.
I feel like he got crushed, like, from the waist down.
Yeah.
Did he survive it? Maybe. It's not impossible.
I just don't think it's on the table yet to say Edwin is definitively dead and Edwin is finished. Like, I think Edwin's going to be a core part of whether Security Breach 2 is going to be. Like, that finale, Edwin is going to be part of it. Whether it's a voice message, whether it's some notes, whether it's maybe even Gregory, if he is a robot, has something recorded in his head or a chip from Edwin. Like, there's something missing. And I'm excited to see what it is.
Sam.
Gush about the game. Is there anything like you'd like to call out that you really loved about the game? Anything that you really disliked? Like, I know a lot of people don't like the gameplay because it was a bit buggy. But yeah.
I think we kind of gushed about FNAF 4 already in terms of all the things I love about it. It has some of the best just like moments. It has so many moments where you're just sitting there, you're like, oh my god, like I'll gush about it over and over again. The bite and the scene of the void and fading away. I cannot understate this enough. Audience, I really think anyone watching this should just like sometime soon find, like, if you're ever like alone at night, it's just quiet out, go put on some headphones, play that scene, and you will feel it. Like, I think that is the pinnacle of Scott Cawthon's like game making. Like when he was still doing all of it on his own, I think that was his peak. I'd also love to gush about the actual gameplay. The shift to being so audio focused really helps for horror. I made this comparison earlier. FNAF 3 is all visuals, right? And that has its own effects because you're like looking for Springtrap and he's kind of like hiding a little bit in most of the cameras, so you have to actively be looking for him. And that has its own level of creepy, right?
Yeah.
That's its own genre of creepy, and it's still effective, but FNAF 4, you can only hear their like ragged breathing. And the whole time you're like listening for the breathing, you have to turn around. Freddy's spawning like behind you. Foxy's in the closet waiting to jump out at you. And then you have, you know, Nightmare Fredbear and Nightmare who completely changed the mechanics. And they're just insane. Like, it's just really good. I think the animatronic design's all amazing. The gameplay, amazing. Even when you get to like the Halloween part and you have like, you know, we have Nightmare BB, that's creepy. You know, Nightmare Mangle, that's cool. The Jacko designs I could kind of do without. I think they're okay, but I'm not super big on them. Nightmare Rion is like lightweight terrifying.
I love Marinette. Marinette has always been my favorite character. Or the Marionette. So it was quite cool. I feel like I do prefer. I think classic Puppet, the first ever time we saw Puppet, that is the scariest because of how humanoid. But then the Nightmare Marion is like, oh.
Yeah, like you see Nightmare for the first time. It's not even seeing it for the first time. This is another big thing about audio. Because when you load into it with Nightmare Rion on, you don't know that Nightmare Rion's going to be there. But you hear the song. You hear My Grandfather Clock, whatever it's called. Like as soon as you load in, you hear that playing, you're like, oh no.
Like you know what you're in for.
Yeah, you immediately know what you're in for.
Yeah.
That is another moment I recommend all the audience go find Markiplier's reaction to that because he's immediately freaking out.
Yeah, I'm eating after this, so I'm gonna watch that as I am eat today.
Because he's immediately like, oh my god, no,
like, not the baby.
Not again.
Yeah, I feel like the whole point, like you were saying about you have to listen this time, sets the tone of the game so much more as well, because you're now paying more attention to details like the hospital drip and the flowers, and it really sets the tone for the whole game. Like you're not fighting for your life anymore. At the end of the day, you are a kid in a coma in an eternal nightmare, and that it feels so much more of that. You're so much more immersed because you have to hear. You're in this kid's head. You see what this kid sees. You hear what this kid like hears. Like no cameras, just you and this thing breathing right next to your ear, and you see them like hiding, disappearing. Like it makes you feel like a child because of how they're just sliding around the corners, and that quietness really plays into the theme because the whole time you're seeing a kid being bullied, you're seeing a kid being hurt, and you're probably playing as this kid, so it just makes that final moment of just quietness just
haunting.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is the most deafening silence I've experienced in a video game.
It's just so it gives you time to think about it as well and just be like, oh my god, hype, horror, I'm so stressed.
Yeah, it's a horror. So, oh my god, so scary, so scary. What's happening? And then you just have that moment where it just sinks in, and then it just fades to black, and then you're back at the title screen. You're just like, what just happened?
Was that the bite of 87?
Was that the bite of 87? Because that's going through your head.
Yeah, I think that's the reason Markiplier's reaction is so memed, because it's such genuine, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like
it's a genuine moment of, oh my god, did this just happen? Like it's the meme moment, of course, but it's more than just a meme moment. And I feel like that's been a little bit lost in the fact that it's memed so heavily.
It's so funny, yeah. I think what a lot of people the thing is, Markiplier is very clear that he's never been a lore player. He plays for the fun, and he's always been clear about that. So for him to understand the lore and what's just happened and feel the impact is just beautiful.
Yeah, that's how you know. Like, it was really well done. Because even if you don't know about the bite of 87, right? Because you don't need it to feel the weight of that scene.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to know what the bite of 87 was to be like, oh my god, that just happened.
Yeah, to kind of get the impact of it. Like, it shows you see it. And that's something we get once in FNAF 6 and never again. That transparency, so I think that's what makes it so unique. Yeah.
It's like the best.
I agree.
Like, that really is just like one of the best scenes.
And that's it today for the Fazlore Podcast. Special thanks to our lovely guest Cryo.
Thank you for having me here. It's been really fun talking about FNAF 4 again and randomly talking about Secret of the Mimic for like 20 minutes in there.
Oh, only the best. So where can we find
focused.
You? Very locked in. Yeah, where can we find you? Your socials?
It's Cryonide everywhere. Check out the YouTube. I don't know when this podcast is going up, but if we're still in July when it's going up, I have a video going up at the end of the month. Go check that out if it's not up yet. And if it is up, go watch it anyway.
We're dropping early August.
Watched it, go watch it again.
It's good timing.
Just go check the channel. And then other social medias don't matter. Just the YouTube. That's all we need.
Right. So that'll be it for today. Signing off and see you later.
Take care.
Thank you for listening. Hi there, PNG Win here. A reminder, all profits from this series goes towards Dorco's London Marathon 2026 fundraiser, in which he is raising funds for Samaritans, a charity for people who are struggling with their mental health, offering support lines and services so nobody is ever alone. It's a wonderful cause, so please consider donating with the link in my bio or scanning this QR code. Thank you.